Welcome to this presentation on AP Classroom resources, and most specifically, the question bank, using the right question at the right time. My name is Claire Lorenz, and I work on the AP instruction team at the College Board. We really appreciate you joining us for this presentation. So this is one of several presentations on AP Classroom resources in which we'll do a deep dive into the instructional tools the AP program has designed to support AP teachers of our math and computer science courses. These resources can help you provide the practice and support your students will need regardless of where you are in the school year and how instruction is being delivered. So without further ado, let's get started with this presentation on the question bank using the right question at the right time. So if you've joined us for any of our other presentations on AP resources, you know that we like to talk about how our resources support teaching and learning at every stage in the instructional cycle. So whether you are planning your lessons, teaching your lessons, having students practice what they've learned in those lessons, whether you're assessing student progress in learning course content and skills at the end of each unit of the course, or looking to get feedback on student progress or give students feedback on their progress, there is an AP instructional resource aligned to each one of those stages. We talked about how AP Daily videos focus on helping you teach your course, how topic questions can help you give students opportunities to practice what they've learned, both in terms of content and skills, and then how personal progress checks, the class progress dashboard, and the student progress dashboard can help you assess student progress in learning course content and skills from unit to unit, and also get and give feedback throughout the course from unit to unit. If you'll notice, the question bank does not appear on this list of resources. And that's because we kind of think about the question bank as a separate resource outside of the typical instructional cycle, because we know that the best use of the question bank is really to help students prepare for the AP exam in May every year. So that doesn't mean that you can't use the AP question bank at each one of these other stages throughout the instructional cycle. And we'll talk a little bit more in this presentation about how you may want to do that. But we want to start by saying that you really want to be cognizant that you're choosing the right question from the question bank at the right time, so that you're not giving students a question very early on in the school year, let's say September, that really relies on them having more robust knowledge of course content and a variety of different skills when you've not yet taught all of that content and skills. So we'll go through this in greater detail as we go through. But let's start with talking about what the question bank will actually help you do. The question bank is really available to help you as teachers create targeted and customized practice for your students. And you can assign these practice assignments either in class or for homework. The question bank also contains full form practice exams, which are ready made for online or paper assignment as the AP exam approaches. If you've taught AP for some time, you know that in the past we've made full form practice exams available behind the AP course audit wall in PDF format. Those PDFs will still exist behind the course audit wall, but we've also incorporated these practice exams into AP Classroom and into our question bank so that you can actually use either the questions themselves individually or the full form practice exam as a practice opportunity for your students. Oops. Um, In addition to the practice exam, the question bank contains thousands of real AP questions that you can filter through or search through by unit, topic, skill, and now even keyword to create targeted custom practice. So if I wanted questions just on unit 3 of a course, I can filter the question bank to come up with those questions for me. If I only wanted questions that dealt with topic 4.2, I can look for those questions in the question bank and filter accordingly. If I want questions that are solely aligned to skill 3A, I can filter the question bank for that. But likewise, if I want to search for multiple choice questions on for loops, I can actually search the question bank for the term for loops. I can search the question bank for L'Hopital's rule. I can search the question bank for a variety now of phrases to really kind of hone in on very nuanced pieces of content if I'm looking for um, very specific types of questions. This is going to save you time as a teacher. If you've been teaching AP for a while, you may be used to going through released exams, practice exams, kind of scanning through for questions that you want, cutting them out of a paper copy, scotch taping them to another piece of paper, taking them to the photocopy room to make copies for your class. This is going to eliminate all of that, and you'll be able to put together a custom assessment very quickly that students can take online or on paper, in class, or at home. So here is a quick screenshot of the question bank. And as a reminder, the question bank is this online library of real AP questions. Um, when would you use it? Well, the question bank houses our practice questions, our practice exam questions, also released AP exam questions and older practice exam questions, but then also our formative topic questions. And so I'd encourage you to go back and watch our presentation on the topic questions to get a better sense of exactly when you would use the topic questions and how you would assign topic questions to your students. But a reminder here that topic questions are for daily use as teachers teach each individual topic. They are meant to assess a very specific topic skill pairing in the course. They meet students where they are for the year, so they are leveled at particular difficulty levels so that we're giving students more foundational questions in the start of the year and uh, kind of intermediate questions in the middle of the year, and then more advanced questions at the end of the year as they're learning more course content and skills. Practice questions, whether they're from a released AP exam, the AP course and exam description or CED, an older practice exam, or one of our newer full form practice exams, these are best used in preparation for that year's AP exam because they are considered what we call May questions, which means they kind of make the assumption that students have already learned the vast majority, if not all, of course content and skill. And so while a question may have a particular concept at its crux, it may actually also incorporate content from other topics and or a variety of different skills. And students may not be necessarily equipped to answer those questions to the best of their ability if they've not yet learned all of the content and skills that seem to be used in that question. So just a reminder here that you can assign any assignment you make from the question bank either in class or at home, either online or in print, and that students can only see questions assigned by their teachers. So you don't have to worry about a student logging into AP Classroom and being able to kind of sift through the question bank on their own. They can only see the questions that you assign to them. This is a difference from some of our other resources like the AP Daily videos, where students can see all AP Daily videos at all times, regardless of whether or not they've been officially assigned by their teacher. Question bank questions, progress checks, and topic questions cannot be seen by students unless they are assigned by the teacher. So as we like to do in all of these demos, we're going to go live into AP Classroom. I'm going to bring up our login page, and here we are. I'm at myap.collegeboard.org. That's myap.collegeboard.org. Don't worry about the rest of this here. You don't necessarily need that to log in. In fact, I'll just reload my page here so you can see how that works. You're going to log in with your username and password and then click submit. I'd encourage you to follow along as we do this. I'm going to spend a little less time kind of walking through the nuances here. Just as a quick reminder, you can watch a little bit more about these landing pages in some of our other videos, either on AP Daily videos, topic questions, or progress checks. Suffice it to say that I've now landed on a personalized homepage of AP Central. I'm not yet in AP Classroom. This is curated to me as an AP teacher. Yours will be curated to you and will give you access to the things that you need based on what courses you teach. For the purposes of this demo, I'm going to go into Calc BC. I'm going to click on go to AP Classroom here, and that is going to take me to AP Classroom's homepage proper. As I'm waiting for this to load, once again, I'm going to do a quick plug for our help menu. Our AP Classroom team is always trying to improve the help menu to make it as robust and teacher friendly as possible. Again, you can access it up in this upper right hand corner by going to help, and I would encourage you to look at the AP Teacher Guide and AP Student Guide. I've called both of those up here already so we can take a look. The AP Classroom User Guide for Teachers is always going to list the recent additions to AP Classroom or improvements at the top and the date at which those improvements went live. And then there is our series of quick start videos. There are actually several on the question bank because we know that the question bank contains a lot of robust features. So everything from building your own assessment, searching the question bank, assigning your assessments to students, and then authoring your own questions. There are videos that all are under 5 minutes in length that really give you that clean and crisp button pressing tutorial that you may want to review to kind of get this, again, quick and easy way to assign to learn how to navigate all of these features. There's also other options here for managing your assessments, and from changing assignment settings to downloading and printing test booklets to using the lockdown browser for the secure practice exams. There's a lot of options here for you to choose from. And once again, you can use the left-hand menu to kind of scroll through and find information, including annotated screenshots. You can see here I'm under the question bank. I can go to creating quizzes, and I will get all of the information on how to navigate the question bank. And you can see every single option is annotated and described in a very particular way. So you will know exactly what will happen if you press certain buttons or use certain features. Likewise, if you go to the student menu, you will be able to see a little bit more about how students interact with with AP Classroom and the assignments that are assigned, they will not have the option here to log into the question bank. This is a feature that just teachers will have, but you can look at what it would look like for students to actually take an assessment that you would make and how students would interact with that assessment, whether it's multiple choice or a free response question, and then how they can answer those questions, including uploading a picture of their response for a free response question, which we know might be of great interest to math and computer science teachers. So in fact, here is a calculus example right here. So again, we would encourage you to kind of like look through this and learn a little bit more about how students interact with the platform itself. That said, I'm going to go back here to the home page, and you'll see if I haven't logged in a while, you may get certain, you may be prompted with certain app cues. That's what these pop-ups are called, and they will tell you things like new AP Daily videos have been released. You may get some notifications about technology improvements and other such things. So just it would encourage you to take a look of what is available here. So I have landed on the homepage for AP Calculus BC. I'm going to go over to Unit 5 here. And again, these are the pages we've learned a lot about in the last couple of videos on our presentations on AP Daily videos, topic questions, and then also personal progress checks. Again, we encourage you to watch those videos. A reminder that topic questions will always explicitly assess the topic content with the topic skill. And if I click on the topic questions button, it's going to take me into the question bank. I could have gone directly to the question bank and applied my own filters here, but the really great part about clicking on that topic questions link is that it will take me to the question bank and give me questions that meet all of these criteria. So you will see I clicked on the topic questions link for 5.1 that was also a link to its skill 3E. I wanted the topic questions, so that's what it's been filtered for. And this is a special filter for our calculus teachers. This is going to be what domain, either do you want questions that are BC only or that are given on both the AB and the BC test. That's going to be selected in most cases by default. So you can see here there happen to be 10 questions that uh, um, match these the selected filters, and you can see in some cases I may have actually assigned some of those questions before, so I can actually look here and I can see that this topic 5.1, I've actually used these questions on topic 5.1 homework and that it had been assigned to these two classes before. Doesn't mean that I can't reassign these questions if I wanted to. I could put them on a different assessment and have students retake them. But that is what the orange will mean here over on the left-hand side. You will see that this is actually all sorted for topic questions, and so that is why I'm seeing the light bulb here for every single one of these questions. If I click on that light bulb, it's going to tell me that topic questions are formative to check student understanding as I teach. I also noticed that some of these questions are multiple choice and some are free response, and that some of these questions actually test topics other than topic 5.1. And in some of these cases, if I'm teaching the course in order, that is the order that is presented in the course and exam description, I may not have my students be ready to do these FRQs yet because they incorporate content that comes in later topics. So this is part of what we mean about choosing the right question at the right time. Just because I've engaged all of these filters and that these questions all meet this criteria in some way, I may need to do additional analysis of these questions to figure out, are my students ready for this? Well, if I haven't taught 5.4 or anything past topic 5.1, and I'm looking to assess student knowledge of 5.1, I may not want to assign any of these FRQs just yet, even though they're topic questions, because my students haven't learned that content yet. So I also may want to look at this from a skill perspective and say, have I, even though I'm teaching skill 3E, there are other skills being employed here. Have I actually taught my students skill 1F, which is way down the skill category 1? Have we done skill 3D? Hopefully we have if we're on skill 3E. But these are all things to consider as I'm choosing the right questions for the right time. So I may decide based on this that I'm going to eliminate the FRQs from my pool here. So I'm going to say, I only want multiple choice questions. Some courses like calculus will have multiple options here. I'm going to currently have it give me multiple choice questions that are calculator active, which means that they may require the graphing calculator, or are not calculator active, which means that they do not require that. And you can see now those free response questions will go away, and I am down to 6 questions. But let's say now let's fast forward a little bit. Let's say I've assigned all of these topic questions and my students are still struggling with the mean value theorem. Maybe I've even gotten all the way through unit 5 and I've given the progress checks, and the data from the progress checks and the topic questions reveal that my students are still struggling with the mean value theorem. So I may decide now that I want to see if there are other questions in the question bank that deal with the mean value theorem. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take away this topic question uh, filter. And you can see now that my list of, we'll do that again just so I can actually see what the total was here. So I had 6 questions that matched my criteria. If I take away this topic question filter, it's going to give me those 6 questions. It's still going to include those 6 questions, but now I'm up to 27, which means that there are 27 questions in the question bank that assess topic 5.1 on the mean value theorem, skill 3E, are part of the either A, B, and BC domain, or for BC only, but calculus teachers will know mean value theorem is tested on both exams, and are multiple choice questions. I may decide I've already given these topic questions and I want to not have those come up in my filter search here. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to say, okay, give me all of the summative questions. I don't want any of the formative topic questions to come up. And so I already know that there were 6 of these. So hopefully I'll see my total now go down to 21. So let's see what happens here. Here we go, 21 questions. I can add all of these questions to a singular assignment if I want. In fact, as long as this number is below 100 or fewer, it will allow me to add all of the questions to the same assessment in one fell swoop without me having to hit add for every single question here. Doesn't necessarily mean that we're condoning creating 100 question assessments for students to take, but it is an option so that you don't have to go through and manually click add for every single question that's here. Again, you can learn more about this feature by clicking the info button next to it. But one of the other things that I do notice here is that there are these shield questions that come up. And if I click on the shield icon, it will tell me that this question is on a secure practice exam, which means it is one of the full form practice exams that we have released both behind the AP course audit wall and in AP Classroom to allow you to have these full form practice exam experiences. So if you want your students to practice taking a full form exam, let's say it's April, and I know when I was a teacher, I used to bring students in on a Saturday to sit for 3.5 hours and take a full form exam. So they kind of got that under their belt. This is typically what I save these types of questions for. Now, you can still use part of those part of that exam as individual questions throughout the year. But a lot of teachers like to save these questions for when we're closer to the AP exam. So what I could do here is I could say, I don't want any of these shield questions to come up. It looks like there's 3 of them. So what I could do is I could figure out where they are, right? So I can see this one is on the 2017 IPE for Calc BC multiple choice. This one is on the 2017 IPE for Calc AB multiple choice. This one is on the 2018 IPE for Calc AB. And I could go through and I could say, don't eliminate those. But the easiest thing for me to do here is actually say, you know what? Instead of clicking all of summative, I'm going to say, give me any summative question that has been put in the course and exam description on an old AP exam. Maybe it appeared on a previous practice exam. So in other words, it's not one of these 3 full form ones that we are holding as secure practice exams, or it's one of a question I wrote. And hopefully what we'll now see is that this 21 should go down to 18. So let's see if that happens. Oh, it actually came up to 20, and let's see why that happened. So this one says this is on a secure practice exam, 2017. Let's see what happened there. So that's interesting. So let's see what happened. What we can do is I'll uncheck this and see what I get here. And now we're down to 18. So that was an older practice exam that I can actually unfilter there. So you just have to kind of play around with the filters sometimes to kind of get rid of questions that you don't want to come up in your feature. Um, and you can kind of actually just keep working with those filters. So I do kind of also want to say here that some things to kind of keep in mind is that some of these questions still may not be exactly what you want. You may decide that I don't want anything that tests anything other than 5.1. And so you may kind of scroll through there and see what happens. But I also may decide hey, I figured out it's not the skill that's the problem. It really is the content that is the issue. And so I want to get any content questions that have to do with the mean value theorem, regardless of what skill they're aligned to. So what I'm actually going to do now is get rid of this skill, and you can see that I've gained a question somewhere, and it looks like I've gained this question here on 1D. I've gained a couple of other questions. Let's see, this one from 18 to 22. I've gained all of these ones that have 3D attached to it, and so this will allow me to kind of um, better again hone in on some of these questions. And I can still kind of go through and I can say, all right, let me look at this question. Do I want it to do I want it? Do I want to use this one because it's aligned to multiple different topics? I may decide that I do want to use the question, but again, if I haven't gotten to Unit 6 yet, I may decide that this is not a question that I want to use. So if I've not yet gotten into the accumulation function, this is not something that I will want to put on my assessment. So what I could do is I could say, hey, on top of this, I could look for something very, very specific. I can look for another key word within these. I could see, does the word slope come up in any of these questions? And maybe I'm looking to really hone in on the concept of what the slope of a graph has to do with the mean value theorem. And I can check out some of these questions to see if that's what I really want to hone in on here. Um, or I can search for other questions as well. I may decide that, I don't really care about this term, but I don't want any questions that are calculator active. And I can again change this so that I can again hone in on the things that I want to assess. More information on using the search feature here. Um, I can actually say, let's say I wanted anything that had to do with mean value theorem, but I don't want anything that is tied to skill 3E. So in other words, I've tested 3E with this all of the time. I want anything else that's not 3E. Hopefully, if I've done the syntax here, I'm getting this question that is now aligned with 3D. So it'll take away all of this. If you want to know a little bit more about how to use the syntax, I encourage you to click on this info button here. And this info button will give you a little bit more on how to use all of the quotes, the minus signs. The computer science teachers will understand when I say it uses a lot of the same Boolean language and notation that Google search uses. And so if you're an expert Googler, this should come pretty quickly to you. But this is a way that you can, once again, use the search to really hone in on the questions that you want. I could add all of these questions to an assessment. I can name it mean value theorem, no calculator, because remember I sorted out those questions, review, let's say, and I can create my quiz. And I am now, instead of on the browse panel on this MVT, no calculator review panel, I can edit the name of my assessment if I want. I can preview the whole assessment if I want. I can say, hey, I'm not really sure why that filter didn't do exactly what I wanted it to do, which some of you may have noticed. And I just don't want this secure question to come up. So now I just added all of them. I'm just going to get rid of this particular question, which I can now do. And I can preview the whole assessment from here if I wanted to. And I can literally go through all of the questions to make sure that I have what I want here. I can see there are 9 questions. These are the same options that I had when I was working with topic questions. So again, I would encourage you to go back and watch that video, but I can edit the quiz from here. Or the review assignment, whatever we're calling it. I can duplicate this so that I can use this assessment as the basis for another assessment for maybe, let's say, a different section, but I want to change some things up, but I don't want to have to re-add everything or refilter everything to recreate it. I can actually duplicate this and then make adjustments for that second section based on this feature. I can remove a question from here. I can do a print preview if I wanted to assign this as a paper assessment for students. And I can generate a scoring guide, which is the same print preview, but with all of the answers highlighted as an answer key. One of the things I will note here is that the question scoring and details panel will also continue to give you the same type of information that we've been seeing for questions that are topic questions or on the personal progress checks, everything from unit and topic and skill to where it actually came from. So I know that this question was actually on an AP exam that was released, the parts of the course framework that the question is aligned to, and then other types of alignments. One of the things calculus teachers may appreciate here is that we've actually tagged these questions for types of functions. Do I want to, search for a logarithmic function, or do I want to search for a trigonometric function? How is the function being represented? Is it analytic? Is it verbal? Is it via table? Something like this. I can actually search for that in my criteria if I wanted to. So these are all things that we can hone in on for when I'm creating an assessment. One of the biggest differences that you will notice between question bank questions and topic questions and personal progress check questions is that these do give me the correct answer and do tell me which are the incorrect answer, but there is no rationale for the correct or incorrect answers. So one of the beauties about the formative questions that we've created, those are the topic questions and the personal progress check questions, is that we've generated those rationales for why the correct answer is correct, why the incorrect answer is incorrect, and those do not exist for the summative questions. We've heard from a lot of teachers that this is something that they would like to see added in the future. So I know that that is on our list of possible things to explore. But for now, students do not have the same ability to kind of check their work in the same way that they might on the topic questions and progress checks. They still can see what is the correct and incorrect answer, but they're not going to be told why either the response is correct or incorrect. I can assign from here, or I can X out of here and I can go to my, I can assign from here. Or I can decide that I want to go to my assessment screen where I can see all of the assessments that either exist already, meaning like they are a pre-assembled practice exam, or they are things that I have assigned before. And so you will see here's my MVT, no calculator review, and I can assign from here. But again, I can also do those things like preview, edit, duplicate, etc. So if I do decide that I want to assign this quiz, I'm going to be able to do that assignment through here. I would encourage you to go back and watch again the topic questions or the personal progress checks where we've gone through every single one of these and options and told you what they meant. But a quick reminder that you can always click on the info button to give you more information about what that particular drop-down menu or feature does. And then I can just click assign from here. And I can always update my settings. I can change my my format. I can change from online to paper if I'd like. I can do a lot of different things here. I may decide that I'm going to close this for whatever reason. Let's just say, actually, I don't want students to be doing this right now, and we can turn that off. And then this will not be live for students so that I can go back into my assessment screen and I can always, if I choose to, here it's moved to the top, I can go back and I can edit this quiz if I want. And it says any edits that I make to this assessment will be applied to all assigned versions. To edit a new version, you can assign to students, you can duplicate the quiz. Well, since I pretty much opened and closed it very quickly, I'm going to go with continue editing. And I, again, may go back and may decide that I want to that I want to change something that's here. So I can actually go back into this particular question bank. I can go back and I can say, hey, give me all of those questions on 5.1 again. And I can actually choose additional questions to add. Let's say, for example, I want to show you what happens when I do add a shield question. So let's say it actually added this to the quiz. My quiz went from 9 questions now to 10. Here is that shield question at the very, very end. A reminder, the shield question is on a secure practice exam. So if I save my quiz now, and I go back to my assessment screen, and I will automatically see here now that this has a secure shield icon. Even though every question on this assessment is not one of those shield questions, you will see this shield icon appear if any of the questions fall into that secure practice exam category. So what will happen now is that if I try to update settings for this so that I can assign it to my class, what you're going to see here is this quiz includes one or more secure practice exam questions, which means I either have to assign it in print or I have to assign it online using the lockdown browser. And if uh, uh, um, I'm going to automatically be told that students have to do this. So I just want to kind of point that out here. So if I do unlock this for students, they are going to be required to use the lockdown browser. So if I do have this as selected start date and time, um, and then I click update here, in order for them to actually access this, they are going to have to use the lockdown browser. So just a couple of things to note about that. Okay, so a couple of other things to keep in mind here. Again, we're not going to look at results in question bank because we spent a lot of time looking at results in both the topic questions and personal progress check videos. So please, again, do go back and watch those to learn more about interpreting results. I want to look at, let's say I want now to create an assessment where my students actually have to do an FRQ. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to say, I still want to hone in on 5.1 here. I'd like to look at an FRQ. I don't necessarily care if it is calculator active or non-calculator active. It's going to give me 46 questions. Okay, so let's hone down a little bit more. I would like a summative question that's either from a course and exam description, an AP exam, or maybe something that I've written. Now I'm down to 38 questions, and I may want to take a kind of like look through this. And I see there's a lot that's coming up with uh, Unit 6, and maybe I don't want that. So maybe I'm writing here, I want mean value theorem, but I want nothing that is in Unit 6. And so I can kind of search for that. Still down to 22 questions. And you know what? Maybe I decide, this one seems to really concentrate on 5.1. It's not tagged to anything else, and it's actually tagged to the skill that I'm supposed to be practicing with 5.1 anyway. And so I'm going to add this one. And let's say I write this as mean value theorem FRQ practice, and I click create quiz. And maybe I want to add one more question. Let me go back. Let's see, this one looks good. I'm going to add that one. And maybe I want to add one that has to do with a different skill. This one's 3D. And so I'm going to do that. I'm going to add that question. Okay, so now I have 3 FRQs on my my question here. So one of the things I may want to do is go in and say, like, what does this question actually look like? And it says there are 4 questions that share this passage. So I may want to go in and I may want to say, okay, what does this actually look like? And I may see that um, this question is actually very short. Maybe it's only part of what calc teachers would recognize as a full FRQ. As we wait for this to kind of load here. And I can see that it's very much just a singular part to this question. So I may want to go back and add other parts. So what I could do here is I could click on this 4 questions. And what it's going to do is it's actually going to give me the other parts of the question. And again, I may need to look at this and say, this whole FRQ as like an entirety and all its parts may not be appropriate for my students if I haven't taught all of this content. If I'm not up to unit 8, I don't want this part. If I'm not up to unit 6, I don't want this part. So I may decide, let me throw in some IVT in here, intermediate value theorem, to kind of like see if students can parse the difference. And then maybe I add this to my question here. So I can do that as well. So these are just some things that I'm able to do, and you can see now how these 2 parts are nested under the same stimulus. I could do the same thing here and here if I want, but I'm going to leave it like this for now. I'm going to click assign. I am going to assign this to my students. Let's say I wanted them to do it in print for whatever reason. I'm going to click assign here. It's added to my class. Again, I don't have real students in my class. So I'm actually just going to generate 10 students here so we can kind of play around on how I would score FRQs. You would obviously have students enrolled in your class. Either you would have done that with your students through the join code, or your school's AP coordinator might have helped with that in some way, shape, or form, but hopefully you have students enrolled in your section. So now here are my fictitious 10 students, and I've opened this for them. I can again download and view the test booklets here, so I can print this for them. But also here is where I would score the FRQs. The FRQs are not going to be scored automatically like multiple choice are. What I'm going to have to do here is actually click on score, and I want to show you how this works very quickly. What you're going to try to imagine here is that there's a vertical line that goes right down the middle of the screen. On the left-hand side, you're going to be able to toggle between the question and the student response. So if you actually had students submit their responses online, they either like typed something into a box or they took a photograph and uploaded that to AP Classroom, you would see either the picture or whatever students typed right here. And you can again toggle back and forth between the question and the student response. And then what I'm going to see over here is that these are my scoring guidelines. So say 1 point is earned for this particular statement, and 1 point is earned for this. And then here is basically the solution. If I click on, let's say, 1 point, it will tell me why the students would have earned a point here, why they would have earned 2 points, why they would have earned 0 points. Anything above this bar is only visible to you as this teacher. Anything below the bar will be given to students as feedback when they get their results. So let's say I decide that Louis Babino here scored 1 point. And what I could do is I could say he scored 1 point, and I can kind of scroll through the rest of his questions if I want. Or what I could do is I could score all of these for all of my students. So I could go to Diana Christensen next, and I could say, okay, for Diana, I want to score the same exact piece because I have this stuck in my head now of like what I should be looking for. And I look at Diana's response and I say, Diana gets 2 points. My score has been saved. So now I can go on to Claudia, and I can do hers as well. Maybe I decide this method doesn't work for me, and I just decide I want to grade all of Claudia's responses. I can say, okay, for part C here, she's earned 2 points. Oops, let me go back there. Sorry. For part 3, I've scored this question, looked at her response. Maybe she got nothing here. And then for part 4, let's say she earned 2 points. And then I could submit all of her scores. I can X out of this, and you can see since Claudia is the only one that is finished, she actually comes out here as 5 out of 9. I can see that the score has been started for both Lewis and Diana, where I graded that first part. I can go back and I can finish scoring. I can go back and look at those scores. So there's a lot that I can do here, and I can see that I have 1 that's fully scored, 2 that are in progress, and then 7 that I have not yet even started to score. So there's just certain things that I can watch here. Finally, I'm going to end this by telling you that you can go back to the assessment screen, and again, you can assign those full form practice exams. We have separated these into multiple choice and free response sections, so that the multiple choice do have that shield icon, but the FRQ do not, which means the FRQ do not require the lockdown browser for you to assign and have students complete. But the multiple choice, which we do care very much about keeping secure so that teachers are able to use them with their class and not have to fear that students have been exposed to those questions before, these will require the lockdown browser. And so you'll be able to kind of see those as you go through. And again, I can go to actions and I can assign this entirety of a block of FRQ questions or MCQ as I would a paper exam. So, or I could actually assign this and print it out for students and have them do a printed version of it as well. So with that, we're going to conclude this presentation on the question bank. Again, as I've said multiple times throughout this presentation, I really hope that you'll take some time to go back and watch some of our other presentations on our other resources. That's AP Daily videos, topic questions, personal progress checks, and the progress dashboard, and that you were able to take something helpful away from this presentation on the question bank using the right question at the right time. We want to thank you for all you're doing, especially this year, to support your students and help them have the ability and opportunity to earn college credit and get through their AP courses and exams. Thank you for all you do to support AP, and we really want to wish you and your students all the best. We hope you and your loved ones are safe and well. And until next time, we hope that you and your students have a really wonderful and successful remainder of the school year. Thank you again. Please stay safe, and we hope to see you again soon.